we've got a major divisional matchup here between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints, and the winner of this goes to 3-1 and at least has a tie for the lead in the NFC South, which is very vulnerable to a team potentially that's not a playoff team making the playoffs here just because of how weak the four teams are. So it's a crucial game this early on in the season to get that tiebreaker against a divisional rival. And Tampa Bay's coming off a tough loss against the Eagles, kind of an expected loss, but I thought they fought hard. I thought they definitely gave Philadelphia some trouble. And New Orleans coming in, most likely going to be without their new starting quarterback, Derek Carr, who hurt his shoulder. Sprained AC joint is the medical diagnosis and is marked as week to week. Potentially he will play, but I will say, just personal anecdote, I have sprained my shoulder before. I've sprained one of the rotator cuff joints in there. It is not fun at all. And for it to be his throwing shoulder, I think that's going to be a little while here. He has obviously got a little more medical attention probably than I did when I did it in college. So a little bit more massages, I think. So yeah, he'll soon. I'm sure he will return sooner than myself. But coming into this game, Ryan, I don't really know what to think. I mean, I've done some research at both teams. It's a heated rivalry. Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore don't like each other. What do you think is kind of the key to both of these teams being successful?
Well, for me, I think with Tampa Bay, it starts with the defensive side of the ball. They're both giving up about the same amount in rushing yards, 100 and 103 per game. And then you look at the passing yards, there's a pretty big difference. The Buccaneers are giving up about 277 yards per game, whereas the Saints are giving up about 203. And to me, I think the Bucs, they need to focus on stopping the pass. That will be a heck of a lot easier if Derek Carr does not play. And like you said, I don't think he's going to. Shoulder injuries, especially throwing shoulder, are they're finicky. I've injured my shoulder rock climbing before. They're not fun. So personally, I don't think he'll play, and I think that gives this Bucs defense a big advantage because I don't think Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston. He's loose with the football. He can make the big play, but he can also make the really wrong play. So, and that's me. This Bucs defense, I think, is good. They're talented. And so I think they'll be opportunistic if they're given the chance to be. So,
well, they definitely have vulnerabilities. I think the thing for me is when it comes to that is we do have Alvin Kamara coming back. It'll be his first game back. It'll be in the Superdome. Can this offensive line capitalize against just the building defensive front, I would say, and just kind of rebuilding defense overall in the Buccaneers? Because if they're able to do that, I think it is going to take some pressure away from Jameis Winston as well. And so we'll need to watch here. I do see Cesar Ruiz. His name is in red, the right guard. We'll
he's out with a concussion.
So he probably won't be playing. Well, we'll have to see. But typically now that's like a one-game loss, so to say. But we'll have to see. But it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be in the Superdome. And going to Tampa Bay, in my opinion, I've kind of liked what I've seen from Baker. No one was expecting him or the team overall, I think, to come out and shock the world, I think, against Philadelphia. There is questions with their offensive line as well. Jalen Carter had a day or an evening, I should say. And that's going to be another thing to monitor as well. It's going to be Tampa Bay's offensive line as they go up against Cameron Jordan and their front. So a lot of back and forth. I think that it's going to be very good. Liability in the Tampa Bay secondary, but then liability in the Saints quarterback room, as you mentioned, with Jameis Winston. So we'll just have to see kind of moving forward. Who do you think is going to be victorious in this matchup?
So I have a contingency plan built into this pick. If Derek Carr plays, I'm going to go with the Saints. I just think this offense is going to be too good, and they'll win how they won their first two games, where they 17-16 or 21-17 type of game. But if he doesn't play, then I think that gives the Buccaneers a very big advantage. And I'll go with the Buccaneers if Derek Carr does not play. So.
Okay. No, I think that's a good one. I am actually going to just say Saints, actually, no matter what. I know it's with Jameis Winston. There's going to be some question marks here. That offense definitely did stumble against Green Bay once when he came in. But at the same time, though, Green Bay does have a overall good, competent defense. Just in general, my opinion. I think with Kamara coming back, and then you still have Olave and Thomas and Rashid Shaheed, and then who's their tight end? Juwan Johnson as well. I think a good overall receiving room. I think they're just going to have a simple offensive game plan. But I think adding Kamara back does add a level of explosiveness to this offense. Where even on passing plays, like just check it down to this guy. Check it down to Kamara, let him work. Is he going to be on a pitch count? Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen too many reports about that.
Probably will be, but even then, I still think that helps.
Well, it's not like he's coming back from an injury. He's been healthy this whole time.
True, but just conditioning-wise, it's probably
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think being at home, this is going to be, once again, a very tough defense that the Bucs offense is going to be going up against. And it was a challenge for them last week. And the Saints defense maybe not overall as good, but they've got a good defensive front that I think can cause some havoc for Baker Mayfield and that offensive line. So I'm still going to go with the Saints. Them being at home, going into the Superdome is a tough place to play. So I'm Saints. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 16 to 10. 16
to 10. Okay. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. If Derek Carr plays, I agree with you. If it's Jameis Winston, I'm going with the Bucs. So it's going to be a really close matchup, but let's go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this NFC South matchup. Is it going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the New Orleans Saints? Let us know what you think. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.